Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with a brand new show. This is our Friday review of the week, episode 2555. Excited because today's show, we have two brand new product debuts. At least to this show. I haven't explained them before. You know that I love bringing you the very best of functional medicine. And today, believe it or not, we actually have an external-based product that has been proven through a specific peptide called OS1 to reverse skin aging. Now, it's not gonna make you go from 85-year-old to 25-year-old, but it absolutely can reverse 5 to 10 years of skin-based aging. I've seen it work in all of their before and afters. I've seen their clinical research, and the science absolutely backs it up. So I'm excited to share that with you today, because usually we work internal to external. So I'm gonna share that product with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing some external. I'm doing it myself now as well. Funny story to share about that, so I'll share that in just a moment. But the other is a brand new product that we've been using in our practice for many, many years, but never formulated it. Honestly, we always had a need to, but it just wasn't on our top list because we had a good product that we were using. But lo and behold, finally 12 months of work is here. And I think we can honestly say this is now going to be one of our top products that people in the functional medicine industry, but also customers all around the world are going to be using. And the reason is that there's just much more education out there. People understand the need for a lot of these products in this toxic world where we are inundated by mold, pesticides, all sorts of different bacteria, parasites, etc. So we'll share with you really simple product that a lot of the biohacking community is using, but also the wellness community with mold, parasite, etc., heavy metal protocols. All right, let's dive into the show. Again, like I said, we've got a lot to share today. That doesn't even include the research on potentially ending type 1 diabetes. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? So much to come on today's show. Let's dive into it. It's episode 2555. Easiest way to get all of the links from today's show is stephencabral.com/2555. That's it. Head on over. You'll get the big takeaways, and you'll get all of the different links from today's show. So quick updates for the week. I always give you my personal updates for the week, but I try to make them applicable to everyone as much as possible, because I think that even things that I'm going through, I think that there's at least a few other people in the world going through the same exact things. And so, it's not unique. Anything that you're ever going through in life, don't think it's just you, that's just your struggles, it's just your challenges, just your hardships. A lot of people do. And it gets them down, and it gets them in a low mood, and they become depressed, and they feel lonely. And I get it, I understand. Back in the day when I was sick, I absolutely felt that way. This is pre-internet. And there was no community like CabralSupportGroup.com, 21,000 people and growing, and it's all free, and it's just people sharing, it's connecting and sharing recipes, and they're doing their New Year's detox, and like all of these things, and it's amazing to be able to see that. So just don't go it alone. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You can just literally, for free, ask questions that you have, and start to just make those little baby steps each and every day, because eventually, believe it or not, they really do lead to a positive outcome. So one thing I want to share with you is that we are now in February. We're in the beginning of February. And the months keep on moving, as they say. They really do. So here's the thing. January's over. A lot of people, they wish they got started on their New Year's resolution. They wish that they accomplished more in the month of January. Well, whether you started to move forward on your goals or not, honestly, it doesn't matter. I say that all the time. Like I talk about that with my two young daughters. I say, listen, what we wanted to do is great. It really is. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is, what did we do? So that's the thing I tell them in both positive and negative. So sometimes we wanted a different outcome. But honestly, that doesn't matter as much as like, did you do it? Did you move forward? How do you feel about that? Did it build confidence for the next time? And they're like, yes, it did. That's what matters, right? But not even being in the game. If you can't get yourself into the game, well, it's impossible then to live your dream life, right? It's impossible to live a life of passion and purpose and meaning. So I want you to just get out there, right? Accept the challenges, accept the struggles, get into it, and enjoy the process. The process is what brings you to life, right? The process is what ultimately, everybody says this, is what ultimately leads to happiness. So let's get out there. Let's tackle it going into month 2 of this new year. All right, I'm not going to go into the promotion this week of what's going on over at EquiLife. I will share that with you, but I'm going to save it for the brand new product debut because there's only one company in the world that's crazy enough to give away a brand new product that they've never even sold before, and that's EquiLife. There's no doubt about it. Nobody else in the industry does this because I don't know that, there's a lot of great companies out there. There's a lot of phenomenal companies, but there's no other company that I know of that puts people before profits every time. So we literally pay for this product to be created, and we are giving away now 500 bottles before anybody's even used it because we know of the efficacy. We know that we want to get it out there, and people are going to they're going to talk about it. They're going to say, hey, we know that this product works. Like, it's going to work that way. We believe in it. We believe in the efficacy of the product, and that's why we're giving away literally for free this week. So I'll share that in just a moment, but of course, all the offers and everything amazing that I think that the team does. I mean, again, I'm a teaching piece for the team. The team are the ones that run the operations, the customer care and support, all of the different emails and the Facebook groups and all of those things is because of an amazing team that we have. And that's 60 plus people strong. Now probably close to 80 people with IHP and Cabral Wellness as well. So working behind the scenes for you. I mean, they really are. It's just, you have a question, they're going to answer it. It's, again, a really dedicated, amazing group of people. We'll talk about that in a minute. Podcast recap for the week. On Monday's show, the 7 healthy habits to become addicted to. Again, we always talk about all the negative addictions. What if we could flip that? What if we could actually create a healthy addiction that we wanted more every day that was moving us forward in life? That would be pretty amazing. We talk about that. The second one on Tuesday was how histamines increase estrogen and how estrogen increases histamines. So it's literally a wild back and forth between these two, one being an inflammatory mast cell granulated cytokine-based reaction in the body, right? And the other one, a hormone. And so we look at essentially these chemicals in the body affecting hormones and hormones affecting chemicals. And it's pretty wild because if you're dealing with brain fog and skin rashes and hives and headaches and low mood and all these things, it could be from elevated levels of histamine or estrogen, and sometimes both. And so we teach you not only, of course, what this is all about, but how to break that cycle as well. All right, so definitely check out that show. On Wednesday, why you should be careful of guru diets. This is a really important one to me. I never name names. I never talk negatively about other people. I don't believe in it. I believe in building the industry up. When great people do things, I like to talk about them. I like to build them up. I just had an amazing interview I just did with Dr. Joe, who I connected with on Instagram. Amazing individual. I mean, doing great work. And just puts people first. Amazing, amazing work. So I love building people up in the industry rather than trying to tear anybody down. I don't think that helps anybody, but you do need to be aware that it's very easy to see through what's a fad and what's not. So please do check out that. It talks about all the different fringes that people sometimes hang out at that we have to be really careful of in the world. I mean, we really do, because it can dramatically affect people's health. Okay, and yesterday's show was how long to brew tea and at what temperature for optimal health. That was a question, right? We got a question about, hey, what teas are best? All right, we did a show on that. And then how do you brew them? We did a show on that. So definitely check that out. Again, I appreciate you. All of these are at stephencabral.com/podcasts. And then for today's show, 2555. All right, product review of the week. Couldn't wait to get into this one. I sent out an email. And again, I am a numbers guy. Like, I love math. I love, only because I love computation. Like, I love being able to figure out how things work. And that's the reason why I love math. And I'm also, quite strange. And so that's just one of the many quirks about myself. But what I wanted to share with you about that is that when my team sends out a product review email that I do on Wednesdays, we just want to say, is this resonating with people, yes or no? And so all we look at is like, hey, how many people opened the email and how many people clicked on it? That's it. Like, were they interested in it or not? And that's really our metric. Like, we try to bring, we'll probably do like maybe 40 emails in a year. So it's not every week. Maybe it's like 3 out of 4, something like that, around that. That's about right. 3 out of 4 emails per month on a Wednesday. So that's our product review. If you're not already signed up, it's easy. You just go to stevencabral.com/newsletter and you can sign up for the newsletter. I send out a Sunday Rewind email, what went on over the past week, kind of my musings on Sunday mornings. I write that at 6 a.m. Sunday morning when I wake up, and I'm just kind of in a meditative state. I'm thinking about the week. I'm contemplating the week ahead. And it's just my thoughts for that week. I love being able to send that out to you. It's also a podcast recap of what you may have missed. And then on Wednesdays, I use all sorts of products. I'm constantly testing out things. Like, I've talked about Therasage products before, the energy bracelet I spoke about before. But, what I don't talk about a lot is skincare. And that's because, honestly, it hasn't been my foray, hasn't been my expertise, what I'm looking to get into. But I am deep into longevity. I'm deep into biological age, how to reverse biological age, and why not look younger if you can at the same time. So it's a funny story because, and I share this, and this is like half joking, I always say, is this came out of nowhere maybe like 2 months ago now. And my wife, she knows that all I do is a simple 2-step process for my skincare, and I've done this for like ever. I literally use a cleanser, I wash my face, and then I apply argan oil, organic argan oil. That's it, that's all I've ever done. And she's like, you know what, you probably should start to use a moisturizer. And I was like, yeah, I probably should. I probably should use some vitamin C serum. I probably should do a lot of things, but I just haven't. She's like, well, she basically said, she's like, a person of your age usually would need to use these things. In like a half joking manner, I was like, I think she's saying something. So I said, okay, let's try one out. And lo and behold, again, as I said in my email, if you got this product review, is that the world works in very serendipitous ways, right? It turns on what's called the reticular activating system in the brain. And so what we do is we're now drawn to what's the best product for that. So I'm not going to just pick any product. So what I found, though, was one of my colleagues using a specific product that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. And then literally the same day, my COO tells me about the same product, and he's using it, and he's seeing great results from it. So I've got a woman, one of my colleagues, she knows a lot about skincare, hormones, all this great stuff on longevity as well. She's talking about it. I said, okay, great. I didn't think too much of it. My CEO was talking about it. I was like, I'm going to look into it. So I look into a product called OneSkin. You can see this very unique bottle right here. This is the facial rejuvenator, right? It's a moisturizer, but obviously it does a lot more than that. It's called a topical supplement. That's why it doesn't look like your typical skincare product. And this is the one for the body. And this is the OneSkin. So what I want to share with you is this, is that I wasn't looking for another moisturizer, like just basically a moisturizer in general. I wanted to actually see something with some really good science behind it, but was also safe for the skin. And so when I was reading through the website, I noticed it was created by 4 female PhDs from Brazil. This was their study essentially was longevity and skin rejuvenation. And these are the benefits that they were finding with their studies: increased skin thickness, supporting age-based DNA damage, meaning like as we get older, the DNA in the cells breaks down faster. We also accumulate a lot of senescent cells, basically old, dead skin cells, which accounts for a lot of the aging process. We start to lose collagen production. This product helps with that. This product improves skin texture and smoothness and increases hydration because, again, that moisturizer provides a moisture lock. Well, I said, all that looks good. I think a lot of companies can kind of claim some of those things, but the way that this product is different, uses a lot of herbal botanicals and antioxidants, which I love, but it also includes a specific patented peptide. So a peptide is essentially a protein that's an amino acid. And the amino acid that's been studied, it's a proprietary peptide called OS01-01. So OS1, I just refer to it as. And what this does, it's the first peptide proven to reduce skin's biological age. So I started using this product. They say use it for 12 weeks. I used it for about 3 to 4 weeks before I started seeing a difference. What I noticed was I absolutely noticed that there was no greasy skin to the feel anymore. When I use an oil, obviously it leaves a little oil residue on the skin. I didn't mind that. but it makes my skin look a little bit more oily. It is what it is. With this, there's no oily, it looks very even, we'll put it that way. So it's a very even tone. Absolutely, the skin looks a little bit more plump. So it's because it's holding more moisture. The moisturizer is not allowing the moisture to come out of the skin to the same degree. It dries really quickly, which I love, like literally within 20, 30 seconds, it's already dry as I'm rubbing it in. And I think that the fine lines, again, like I'm not getting any younger, the fine lines seem to be a little less noticeable around the eyes and around the corners of the mouth. And overall, just a good, even skin tone. So what I then said is like, okay, I like this. Let me now quote the research because I want to be able to bring people always science-based products. So here's what it is. They have the clinical research on the website as well. So I'll just link to that for you. So 90% of users claimed skin elasticity improvement. 95.5% of users improved skin evenness, radiance, their pore size, so shrinking of the pores, and skin firmness. There was a greater than 15% average improvement in skin barrier, meaning like the moisture relieving the skin. 87% of users claimed less wrinkles, and 100% of users improved skin smoothness and overall appearance within 12 weeks. So again, great product, lots of botanicals, high in antioxidants. If you only get one, I'd get one for the face. I would get the topical supplement, OneSkin OS1 for the skin. And this one, the body one, is used for the neck. It's used for the hands, which can show aging. It can be used for the arms and also like around the knees. So they've got great before and after photos. Again, I shared a bunch of those myself. If you're going to use it, head on over to stevencabral.com/2555 because we'll give you the link to 15% off just for our community. Keep in mind, again, if you read my Wednesday emails, I always talk about getting your 15% off or whatever we can do for the community. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 20. Whatever our company will do, we let them know, like, hey, we're going to share this with people. Is there a discount you can give for our community? So definitely check it out. Again, I think it's a great quality product. I think it's a clean product, and it does what it says it's going to do. Very few products are science-based like that. All right. Hopefully you enjoy it. Again, big fan of this product, and I know that in the future, they'll most likely have more products to come that will help with the overall skin rejuvenation and aging, getting rid of those dead skin cells as well under the skin. All right. Next up is going to be our product review of the week, part 2. So we have a second one, and this one, honestly, it's so new. I don't actually even have a bottle. I wish I could show you a bottle of it. It's going to be a beautiful bottle, and it is the Universal Binder. So it's called the Anytime Total Toxin Remover. So why Universal Binder? Well, there are no shortage of chemicals in the environment, whether it's heavy metals, mold, viral-based replication, bacteria, pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, plastics, etc. So there's over 100,000 man-made chemicals in our environment. What we want to do is simply test. We can do at-home lab tests to see if we have mold or yeast or bacteria or heavy metals, any of these things. And if we do, then what we want to do is a corresponding protocol, right? Mold protocol, the para support protocol, we could do the heavy metal protocol, the CBO protocol for the gut, whatever it might be. And those protocols are standalone. But for people that want to be able to bind up and remove those toxins at even a faster rate, which many, many, many people do, we created a binder that we feel is at the top of the industry. And here's why. It combines not just charcoal, not just your typical binder, but it actually is formulated in a way for sensitive individuals. So we work with a lot of people in our practice that have gut issues, and same with our IHPs as well. So they have, bloating, digestive issues, they have skin rashes, they get hives, they get migraines and headaches, and they have Herxheimer reactions. They're more sensitive to the outside environment and their world as well. So what we do is we help bind up and get those things out of the body better, but what we found is that with charcoal predominant binders, not that charcoal is bad, we believe in it as well. We use a carbonized activated form of it, all natural form. But here's the issue, is that if that's your predominant ingredient, oftentimes it can lead to higher levels of histamines, right? Because it is a smoked type substance. And again, it works really well, so I'm not saying that. But what we did was we put a gentler formulation before it that has the same efficacy, if not better in certain situations. So the first one being bentonite clay, an all-natural clay from the environment, has worked for thousands of years in Ayurvedic-based medicine. We then have humic and fulvic acid. Humic and fulvic acid are great binders for heavy metals, mold, and much more. Plus, they help open up those detox-based pathways. Then we have apple pectin. Apple pectin creates what's called a gel-like substance. So it's an all-natural substance from apples, and it helps bind up and seal in any of these toxins so they don't get reabsorbed back in your body, which is pretty phenomenal. Plus, it has the benefit of helping with loose stool or potentially things like constipation, because it's going to move that bulk substance through the bowels to get it out of your body quickly. So basically from the blood to the liver, into the bowels, and then out of your body. That's how you want these detox processes to work. Now, we added a couple special ingredients as well, and that's TUDCA as well as taurine. We did this specifically because we're helping to ramp up what's called phase 2 detox, empty out the liver bile ducts, and get all of those toxins out of your body faster. It's really a phenomenal product. It can be used by children and adults. We formulated it so there's no charcoaly taste, no mixing in water. They're encapsulated now. And those capsules can actually be dosed as a full serving of 3 capsules, or it could be 1 capsule or 2 capsules for children, or a lighter dose if you'd like. And so really, really effective. I mean, the efficacy is there, over 24 studies that we've put together with the actual ingredients in the product. But one thing I wanted to share with you as well is that these are ingredients that have been around for a long, long time. This isn't something that we're experimenting with other individuals. What we do is we take the science, we look at what we're currently using in our practice, say, can we make this better? And if we can't, we don't make it better. I mean, that's the truth. And then eventually, if we're able to, yes, that's our goal. And so that's what we have today. It's called the Universal Binder. One other thing I'd like to share with you about it is that many people also use it before doing an infrared sauna or sauna in general. They might use it before sauna. They might use it before coffee enema. What else they may use it with? Might use it before having a cheat meal out or drinking alcohol, or if they get sick to their stomach after eating a certain food, that will bind it up and get it right out of the body. So a lot of uses for it. Great to have a bottle on hand in your home. And of course, like I said, we are the kind of company that's just crazy enough to give it away for free. So while supplies last this week, there's 500 bottles reserved. And on all qualifying orders, we'll ship them anywhere in the world, all qualifying orders. We'll get a free bottle. Head on over to stevencabral.com/shop for details. All right, I'm going to see if I can fit it in this week. I know we're a little tight on time, but again, I wanted to share with you 2 brand new products. The first is this. So, get my research here for you, and I wanted to make sure that you knew about this antibody tests. This is not just me. So this one's from Dr. Schaffner out of Vanderbilt University, professor of preventative medicine and infectious disease. Okay, at Vanderbilt. So basically, what he went on to say is that antibody tests for the virus are really not reliable. We've kind of felt this way for quite some time in natural health. This is how we look at it. We understand the basically immunological systems of the body. So when you encounter a virus, your body there's an antigen that comes in, right? We'll call it the virus. Okay, so your body's now going to create what are called antibodies. So it's going to create something to be able to then attack the antigen. And it will keep increasing the antibodies as it needs to in order to overpower the antigen, right? The bad guy. And so the good guys grow in number until they can outpower the bad guys, and that's basically how things work. Obviously, that's extremely simplified, but you get the gist of it. So after that, though, the antibody levels go down, right? Like that's pretty normal. And so let's just say 4 months, 6 months after you got infected with a virus, you went and took an antibody test. Well, for some people, they may still be elevated, right? That's very possible. And if they're still elevated, well, of course, you have those antibodies, and yes, like you do have that protection. Okay. But for others, the antibody levels will go back down. And when the levels go back down, it doesn't mean that they're no longer protected. That's very important to look at that. Now, it may mean that they're not protected, so I'm not saying that either. But what I'm saying is, what the body does is it creates memory cells. And so it creates a few of them, right? So not hundreds of thousands, not thousands, but enough to be able to then, when a virus of a similar replication is denoted or found in the body, what happens is the body then springs those memory cells into action, B cells, and starts to then replicate their own antibodies very quickly, faster than they did the first time, and to swarm and outnumber and overpower the virus. And that's how our bodies work. So a lot of these tests are just not sophisticated enough to be able to test those memory cells. So again, one, yes, you may not have any more protection. I'm not saying that. The second is that you may, but those now are just memory cells and it's a smaller amount. This means in general, though, that the antibody tests are just not reliable. Now, if you test positive for the high level of antibodies, yes, you do have the antibodies. You do have a level of protection, which is great to see. So again, just wanted to share that with you. I think that people going one way or another saying, oh, well, you don't have any antibodies, you're not protected. Well, that's not necessarily true, right? Like it's not, they don't know that, right? So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, in general, do what you feel is best for your health, whether it's natural immunity or otherwise, you choose. It's your body. You get to decide that. And again, we here are always just here to support you however we can, right? Both conventional and natural, or just conventional, whatever you decide is best for you. Again, we're here to support you. All right. Last research for the day. This is a big one. And again, I know I'm at my upper limit of time, but I had to share it with you. And that is that there may be, because people ask me all the time, there may be, and I'm hoping, an eventual cure for type 1 diabetes. Now, right now, it'll be prevention, not reversal. But what they've found, and this is all at jdrf.org. So the first one is the T1 Detect lab test. All right, T1 Detect, it looks like it's only $55. And you run it with your PCP. If you have a family history of type 1 diabetes in your family, you could run that with children, right? Young kids, typically before the age of 5, they might start showing symptoms, definitely before the age of 8. And they might show symptoms of like diabetic ketoacidosis, something like that, like some precursors that, okay, there might be something going on. And it looks for autoimmune antibodies, essentially. Like it's looking at, because we believe type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune issue, it's looking for that autoimmune process. Very interesting, right? And so then there's a treatment which is very expensive, but I believe covered by health insurance, potentially covered by health insurance, yes, potentially. And very, very expensive, which is too bad, but hopefully these costs come down. And that is called, let me see if I have it right here, Tzield. And Tzield, now I looked at the side effects. Their side effects, again, we're talking about type 1 diabetes, so there are some side effects. They do not seem, again, you'll always decide, and I have to give you my disclaimer, nothing on any of my podcasts is here to provide medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical diagnosis, medical cure, but it's worth looking into because right now they seem to be able to push back type 1 diabetes 2 to 3 years with this treatment, maybe even longer. I believe, though, that this is just the start. If they can do it for 2 to 3 years, they might be able to do it for 20 to 30 years, and then eventually completely. And so I'm really optimistic about this, and I'm excited about the future of this type of preventative-based medicine. This uses monoclonal antibodies, which if you remember during the virus, like you could actually take antibodies that were natural, put them into the body, and potentially protect yourself, right? Well, with this, they're putting in antibodies to go after these antigens causing the type 1 diabetes. So very fascinating. I'm fascinated by this. I love the science behind it. I'm going to link up, again, all the links today. I'll link up OneSkin. I'll link up the Universal Binder. Actually, I can't link up the Universal Binder. Unfortunately, you can just find that at stephencabral.com/shop. FDA does not allow me to do that if I name any medical and health-based issues, but I can link up the research on the Tzield, and I can link up the T1 Detect. Hopefully this was helpful, everyone. I appreciate you. I thank you. I'll be back tomorrow with our weekend house calls, answering your questions. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquiLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.